Good afternoon friends, myself Manish Kumar, presently working as a lecturer at Government Women's Polytechnic, Patiala. I am today going to deliver a lecture on projection of points. It's part of engineering drawing first semester architecture assistantship. So let's start. First of all, you should know what are quadrants. See, this line represents x-axis and this represents y-axis. So we have four parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. This space is known as quadrant number 1. This space here is known as quadrant number 2. This space here is known as quadrant number 3. And this is quadrant number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 moves in anti-clockwise direction. First, second, third, fourth, it is not clockwise. This is two-dimensional representation of 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's move to 3D. Here again we have 4 quadrants. This is quadrant number 1. This is in 3D. This is quadrant number 2. This is quadrant number 3 and this is quadrant number 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now in quadrant number 1 we have 2 planes. This rectangle here say ABCD. Big. This represents, or this is called VP, vertical plane. And this say E, F, G, H represents horizontal plane. So students should be aware of what is horizontal plane and what is vertical plane. Only then they will be able to draw projection of points. This is horizontal plane or HP. So one should clearly understand what is horizontal plane and what is vertical plane. So this represents first quadrant and this is horizontal plane of first quadrant and this is vertical plane of first quadrant. So whenever there is a problem of projection of points, you should imagine yourself standing here. Person is always standing in the first quadrant facing the vertical plane. So let's take up example. Say a point P is 10 centimeter from vertical plane and 5 centimeter above horizontal plane. So, in this statement we have a point P 10 centimeter in front of vertical plane or VP and 5 centimeter above horizontal plane. So, first of all we will check in which quadrant does the point lies. To check that, we will go back to the first page. Say this is horizontal plane, this is vertical plane, and I am standing here. Point P is 10 centimeter in front of vertical plane, yeah, away from vertical plane towards this side, and point P is 5 centimeter above horizontal plane. So, point is not resting on this, point is little higher, and 10 centimeter from this side. So, point is somewhere here. So, this is projection of point P in 3D, which is actually not required. We are supposed to draw its projection. This is just to understand. Here we can clearly see that this distance is 10 as per our statement. Point P is 10 centimeter away from vertical plane and 5 centimeter above horizontal plane. So, point is somewhere here and its representation on vertical plane are here and horizontal plane are here. So, how to draw this in orthographic projections? First, draw a straight line, say x axis, and this rectangle here represents vertical plane. Here I would like to make one thing sure, that vertical plane is always parallel to the sheet, always parallel to sheet, and horizontal plane which was here will come down. So, this top rectangle represents vertical plane and bottom rectangle represents horizontal plane. How this has happened? Let us go back to our 3D. See here, this plane this is by default parallel to the sheet and represented flat on the sheet. This horizontal part, say this is horizontal plane, this will move 90° clockwise. This plane will come like this, this will move 90°. So, here is 90° turn. So, this will come parallel to this surface. So, on drawing sheet we will have like this. So, as per statement, our point is 10 centimeter in front of vertical plane. So, this is vertical plane. We will draw a line 10 centimeter like this and draw our point here. Say this is point P. And it is 5 centimeter above horizontal plane. The height will be shown in the vertical plane. Draw guideline from here. Say this is P dash and this here is this is 10 centimeter, this is 5 centimeter, and this represents elevation, this represents plan. This whole represents projection of a given point P. So, how we have solved this? Let us go back to first drawing. Say this is quadrant number 1. Our point P was 10 centimeter in front of vertical plane. This is vertical plane. This is horizontal plane. Ten centimeter in front of vertical plane, our point will be somewhere here. Say this is 10 centimeters, so our point will be here on this line, which is 10 centimeter from this vertical plane, and our point is 5 centimeter above horizontal plane. So, from here we will take 5 centimeter. So, our point is here. So, its representation on the vertical plane will be somewhere here. If we see from this side, it will strike the vertical plane here, and on horizontal plane it is here. We know that horizontal plane will move like this. This plane will come here, this plane will come here, so a point will be somewhere here. So, this is what I have drawn here. This is 5 centimeter above axis line and 10 centimeter below axis line. So, this is represents plan of the point, this represents elevation of the point, and point lies in, you should write point P lies in first quadrant. This is one part of the answer, and you should write title of the projection as projection of given point P. So, this is projection of given point P which lies in first quadrant. So, let us take second example. Say a point P is behind vertical plane and say behind, say 5 centimeter behind, 5 centimeter behind vertical plane and 9 centimeter above horizontal plane. So, from the statement we can make rough 3D drawing of quadrants. So, these are 4 quadrants 1, 2, 3, 4. Always imagine yourself standing here in first quadrant and start reading the statement. Point P is behind vertical plane. So this is vertical plane. If it is behind, it will go to second quadrant here. This is vertical plane. As our point P is behind vertical plane, so point will go into second quadrant. And 9 centimeter above horizontal plane means this is horizontal plane, point is somewhere here. It is 9 centimeter from horizontal plane, say this is 9, and 5 centimeter from vertical plane, 5 centimeter behind vertical plane. So how to draw its projection? Here again, this vertical plane will remain parallel to the sheet. We can straightway draw it. Say this is x-axis. We can draw vertical plane. Say this rectangle represents vertical plane. Now this horizontal plane will move in clockwise. We already know that it will move by 90 degree and clockwise. When this horizontal plane will move, it will coincide with this vertical plane. So our vertical plane will also be parallel to this plane. We can draw another rectangle very close. Now say this is horizontal plane. Now we have both the planes parallel to each other on sheet. VP and HP are parallel, and projection of plan and elevation will be both in this surface. So how to draw this? First, see here, point P is 5 centimeter behind vertical plane. So this distance here is 5. When this plane move upward, so we will get a point P here. And this distance is 5. This distance is 5 and this is plan, P of plan. Now second part, it is 9 centimeter above horizontal plane. So this is horizontal plane, it is 9 centimeter above, so its impression will be here 9 centimeter above this axis line, somewhere here. So draw a straight line from this point, guidelines. Mark this as 9 centimeter. And mark this as P dash. This P dash is elevation point. So we have completed the projection of given point P. We should write here point P lies in second quadrant. And we should also write projection of given point P. So this solves our second problem. Now let's take another example. Say now our point P is 5 centimeter behind horizontal plane. Second part of the statement is it is also say 10 centimeter below sorry 5 centimeter behind vertical plane, and it is also 10 centimeter below horizontal plane. Point P is 5 centimeter behind vertical plane. It is also 10 centimeter below horizontal plane. Draw its projections. So first of all, draw rough all quadrants 1, 2, 3, 4. This is first quadrant and you are standing here. Start reading the statement. Point P is 5 centimeter behind vertical plane. So as this is vertical plane, when we are saying behind, point is somewhere here. Somewhere here 5 centimeter behind this vertical plane. Second part of the statement is it is also 10 centimeter below horizontal plane. Now this represents horizontal plane. And point is 10 centimeter below this point. So point will come in this quadrant. This is horizontal plane, below means below this line. So point will be somewhere here. So this is third quadrant. So as per our statement, we can judge that point lies in third quadrant. And how to draw its projections? Again, first see here, point P is 5 centimeter behind vertical plane, means from this line point is 5 centimeter behind. Behind means this distance is 5. This distance here is 5. Second, it is 10 centimeter below, means this distance is 10. So point is somewhere here. So when we draw its projection, this vertical plane will remain vertical by default parallel to the sheet. So we'll draw a line like this. Vertical plane will be like this vertical plane, and this horizontal plane will again move clockwise by 90 degrees. So when this plane will move like this, it will come parallel to this plane. So we can draw it like here. So in this plane, now we have horizontal plane above. Now we have horizontal plane above axis line, and below is a vertical plane. Now on horizontal plane we will get plan, which is as per statement, point is 5 centimeter behind vertical plane. So this distance is 5. When we move this plane like this, we will get here like this. This distance is 5 centimeter. from here we can see this will go like this. So, we will get height of 5 centimeter. And for drawing its elevation, say this is plan P. So, this point P is exactly 10 centimeter below this axis line as per our statement. Say this is P dash, this represents elevation. And you should dimension here. Centimeter. And again write part of solution, point P. Point P lies in third quadrant. This is first part of the solution. You should write in capitals only. Point P lies in third quadrant and give heading to this again in capital letters. You can give here, write projections of given point P that is it. So, we have solved the projection of given point P which is in third quadrant. Now, we will take another example. Say now our point P is five centimeter below horizontal plane and 10 centimeter in front of vertical plane. Point P is 5 centimeter below horizontal plane and 10 centimeter in front of vertical plane. Again draw a rough sketch of all the quadrants. So, these are 4 quadrants and you are standing here. This is VP, you are standing on HP facing vertical plane. So, as per our statement, point P is 5 centimeter below HP means point is below this horizontal plane. If this is horizontal plane, point will be somewhere below this plane, either in fourth or third quadrant. Second part of our statement is 10 centimeter in front of vertical plane. This is vertical plane, in front means here in this quadrant. So, point P is somewhere here in this quadrant and its distance are like this. Point P is 5 centimeter below means just go below by 5 centimeter. Say this is 5 centimeter and 10 centimeter means distance of this point P from this vertical plane is 10. Our point is 5 centimeter below this horizontal plane and 10 centimeter away from this vertical plane. Now, how to draw its projections? Again, start by drawing axis line, this line. This is our axis line. Now, by default we know vertical plane will remain parallel to the sheet. So, we will draw first this vertical line, vertical plane.